Hi, this is Chrissy Topus for the Blitsy Creative team, and today I'm going to show you how I made this shaker card using a stamp set from Lawn Fawn called Blue Skies and the Fuse tool from We Are Memory Keepers. And it's a real quick and easy way to make a shaker card if you don't have foam or other transparencies or some other supplies that you normally need on hand. This is kind of like a cheater's way of doing it. None of us have time, right? So making a shaker card can be time consuming depending on how you do it. So this is a quick and easy way to do it. So I just have my card panel here, and I'm just kind of laying out my stamps ahead of time. I like to do that with my clear stamps. That's one of the reasons why I like clear stamps so much, is because if I'm not sure exactly how I want my layout to be, I can just lay my clear stamps down, and then I can kind of visualize it a lot easier to see how my finished card is going to be. So I should also mention that that panel that I'm stamping on right now is just plain white cardstock, 80 pound, and I had cut it to 5 1/4 by 4. So I'll have a little bit of a border on my finished card. It's the standard A2. It's the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and it's folded at the 4 1/4. So it'll be the standard A2 size, and this is the front panel. So I'm just stamping the 2 balloons and the sentiment from the Blue Skies set, and I'm stamping that in Tuxedo Black ink by Memento. And I'm just using a plain acrylic block. So now I'm going to speed this up a little bit because I'm using this Fiskars finger trimmer to trim out some of the inside of those balloons. Now I'm leaving a little bit of white in between. So I'm freehanding it too. You can always, if you want, you can draw like light lines with a pencil. You don't have to use this trimmer. I love this trimmer. I think it's absolutely fantastic, but there is a bit of a learning curve. You really have to get used to it. I've been using it for a couple years, and there's sometimes I still have problems turning it the right way. You could use a regular X-Acto knife, whatever works for you. So I went ahead and I cut all that out. I didn't keep it on video because it's incredibly boring to sit there and watch me trim out every little section, but you can see I left a little bit of white there. So now we're going to use the Fuse tool. I have a regular page protector, like one that would go in a binder that you can get at any office supply store, and I've just taken it to my trimmer and trimmed it down. So I have my non-stick or my cutting mat that I use there for the front for my trimmer. So now I'm just flipping it over to the back. So this Fuse tool by We Are Memory Keepers, I think it's really cool. It was created so you could make your own pocket pages essentially for scrapbooking. I'm using it for shaker cards. So you have to let it get hot. I let mine heat up for probably about 10 minutes. I'm just going to cut off that extra end here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fuse each edge. I just kind of go back and forth a few times, and you can see that it seals it up. I mean, it really does look like, actually it looks like the side of the pocket protector that I bought, that was already put together, like fused professionally in manufacturing. So I'm just going to grab a couple sequins here. Leave that top portion open. You don't want to close it because then you can't put anything inside it. And then I decided, oh, duh, I'm going to fuse these two separately. I'm going to have 2 different pockets instead of 1. So I could do 2 different color balloons and 2 different color sequins and shakers, essentially. So I just want to make sure that they're the right size. I had to trim them down just a little bit. There we go. So then just go ahead and you can fill it with whatever you want. Now, when you're doing this, because you're not adding any height to it, some ways of making shakers, you add foam. You have to keep this kind of flat. So initially, I kind of had like too many sequins in here, so I dumped some of them out because then it won't shake if you have it too full. So, stick with sequins that are kind of flatter, maybe just stick with glitter, maybe even just simple die cuts. I love putting die cuts inside my shaker cards. So you can't have anything too chunky. That's the only drawback that I've found so far of this cheat way of doing it, because I mean, it is so fast. All you do is cut the pocket protectors or the sheet protectors, and you fuse them, and you attach them to your card, and you're done. I mean, it's fantastic. So I'm also going to just lightly color in my balloons. Now, I waited to color them in until after I cut it out, because if I would have colored them in first, that would have been a complete waste of ink. So I'm using Spectrum Noir markers. I'm just doing a real light amount of shading. So for that first balloon, I'm using the pinks. I use PP3 and PP5. The PP3 is the lighter one and the PP5 is the darker one. And I just kind of shaded them together a little bit on that part of the balloon where it all joins together. And now for this blue one, I'm using TB3 for the top there. And then I'll use TB3 and TB4. This is TB4 right here to kind of blend it a little bit. And then I'm going to color in the baskets, and both are going to be with TN3 and TN5. These are standard alcohol markers. They come with a chisel tip and a regular nib. You can also purchase brush tips separately, and then that gives you like that soft brush look similar to Copics. But I use Spectrum Noir markers. So I decided too that white background was a little bit harsh. I wanted to soften it a little bit. So I just grabbed my Distress ink, and it's broken china, and I'm just using the blending tool, the mini blending tool, to just add some blue to it. Now, when you do this, I usually do it in a circular pattern and just do it really light-handed. And you can see that I also have some kind of scratch paper behind it. So what I usually do is, in most cases, I want it kind of dark on the edge, so here I didn't do it as much. But I'll kind of like trounce it onto that scrap paper first just to get a little bit of the ink off, so it is a little bit lighter. Now if you're looking for dark colors, you don't have to do that, but I just wanted a little touch of blue to kind of soften everything up. I didn't want it to be really harsh, and I didn't want that white to really show through that much. So here you can see I'm going to add my little shakers on. So just use really strong adhesive. You can even use regular glue, tacky glue. Use whatever you can that it will hold it enough. So don't use like repositionable adhesive or anything that is not extra strong or permanent, because you definitely don't want your shakers falling off. So the strongest glue or adhesive you have, go ahead and use that. So I'm just kind of going around the edges here, and this will all be covered up, so it doesn't really matter if it's perfect or not. I just positioned them to make sure that they would definitely be shaken there, and they're shaken. Woohoo! Shake, shake. So there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, at some point, put it on the card there. So again, super strong permanent tape. I'm using the same adhesive, and I'm even putting adhesive onto the top of the shakers. I want to make sure everything is adhered down really well onto my card base. So adhere it as much as you can. And we'll just go ahead and position that down. And the only negative thing with super strong adhesive is if you screw up when you place it down, you can't fix it. So make sure you have it aligned as best you can when you place it down. So for the very last thing, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add these clouds. This is the coordinating die. It's called a lawn cut for this Blue Skies stamp set. And I just thought it would be fun to add a few clouds and just have them pop up with some foam adhesive squares. So I'm kind of deciding here where I should actually put them. And I do decide. I thought it would be fun to have them with some of that 3D foam just to add a little bit of interest to the card. So I'm going to go ahead and add the little squares on. Just peeling off. I know some people use tweezers for this. I'm really bad with tweezers, so I'd love to use tweezers to do this instead of my nail, but I'm just really bad at them. So just go ahead and you don't even have to add adhesive. I just thought it was pretty cool. Or foam adhesive, I should say. You can use your regular adhesive as well. It was fun to add that extra element in there. So there we go. This finishes up the card. And you can see we're all set. Here's a little close-up of it. It's shaken. And I think it's fun having the two colors of sequins as well, not just having them all one color. Oh, and I forgot, I did add a little bit of sparkle. I always have to add sparkle. So just to the bottom of the balloons there, I grabbed my Wink of Stella pen. This is the clear. It doesn't have any color to it. So when you add it, it's just straight clear glitter, and it dries super fast, and it's a nice brush pen. So there, you can kind of see it sparkling a little bit there. Just not too much, right? A little bit of sparkle. So here, I'll give you a close-up. You can see the one shaker. And make sure you visit Blitsy.com. Thanks!